You walk into your kitchen, open the refrigerator, and grab a cold drink. You don't think about the temperature inside. You don't think about how your food stays fresh for weeks, or how a single appliance completely dictates how your house is built. It is a quiet, invisible luxury. But for 99% of human history, artificial cold did not exist. If a winter freeze didn't bring it to you, you never felt it. In the summer, food rotted in days. Cities reeked. Monarchs died of food poisoning. Cold wasn't an inconvenience. It was an elusive, mythical force that humans spent thousands of years trying to capture and tame. This is the story of cold. Not the weather, not winter, and definitely not just a setting on your thermostat. We're talking about how our battle against heat reshaped human migration, built global megacities, and why our biology is still trying to adapt to a world where winter can be turned on with a switch. Because here's the thing about human biology. We are essentially just walking, self-sustaining furnaces. Your body is constantly burning fuel calories just to keep your internal temperature at exactly 37 degrees Celsius, or 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Every cell in your body is a tiny factory that produces heat as a byproduct. If you get too hot, the proteins inside your cells literally begin to unravel, like an egg cooking on a sidewalk. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors survived by mastering fire to stay warm. But our evolutionary defenses against getting too hot were incredibly fragile. We developed sweat glands and shed our thick body hair, relying entirely on the environment to cool us down. When humans migrated to tropical environments, our evolutionary expansion hit a hard wall. The heat didn't just drain our physical energy, it ruined our ability to store food, forcing us to constantly move or face starvation. Heat was the ultimate tax on human progress. Before we could manufacture cold, we had to harvest it. In the 1800s, an insane global industry emerged: the ice trade. Men would go out onto frozen lakes in places like New England, cut massive blocks of natural ice out of the water, pack them in sawdust, and ship them on wooden boats across the world to places like India and the Caribbean. It sounds absurd today, but frozen water was treated like a miracle drug. Rich elites paid fortunes just to have a single block of ice sitting in their parlors during a sweltering summer. It was the world's first literal frozen asset. By the late E10 BBS, cities like New York and London completely relied on massive ice houses, giant insulated warehouses packed with thousands of tons of lake ice, just to keep their populations fed through July. The survival of entire cities depended on how fast ice melted on a boat. Then, in the 20th century, we unlocked mechanical refrigeration and air conditioning. We mastered chemical gases to absorb heat and throw it away. We didn't just defeat the summer, we entirely erased it. Suddenly, we could build glass skyscrapers in the middle of deserts like Dubai or Las Vegas, cities that literally could not exist without artificial cooling infrastructure. We transformed cold from a rare, sacred winter luxury into a standard baseline expectation. But this artificial bubble flipped a massive evolutionary switch inside us. Because we now spend 90% of our lives in climate-controlled spaces, our biological furnace has gone lazy. We don't burn energy to stay warm or adjust to the heat anymore. Scientists are realizing that our hyper-regulated, perfectly cooled modern environment might actually be contributing to metabolic disorders, because our bodies are no longer forced to do the hard work of regulating our own temperature. The gap between an ancient Egyptian servant fanning a jar of porous clay water to cool it down through evaporation, and a modern skyscraper using megawatts of power to keep an entire workforce at a crisp 21 degrees Celsius, is a massive moral and technological chasm. One treated cold as a fragile shield against the sun. The other treats it as an infinite right. Both are dealing with the exact same biological limits. Almost nothing else is the same. So, the next time you step into an air-conditioned room on a blistering summer afternoon, or hear the quiet hum of your kitchen fridge kick on in the dark, take a second to appreciate it. You aren't just escaping the weather. You are stepping inside a fragile, synthetic miracle. You are looking at a forest that took our species 1,000,000 years to capture, and it's sitting right there, keeping your milk fresh, right inside the kitchen.